evening, everyone. Ellen Sutter, the ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Our guest tonight is Harold Phifer, and I'm going to invite him in. Also, guys, we are having a special. I see you there. Hopefully, you got my email. We're having a special, and it'll be out soon. We're going to do our gold, which is at $75, and our platinum at $135. We're going to do it as a 1 hour show. Normally the 75 is 30 minutes, as well as the 135 being 1 hour. So we're going to make them both 1 hour. We're going to read your entire book, and you guys will see something going out. Good to see you, Miss Queenie. Good to see ya. Hey, hey, hey. Again, our guest is Harold Phifer. I'm going to bring him in the room. Let's see. Let me get that right. There it is. Out there. Again, we're going to do our gold and our platinum. And it is going to be at gold at 75. You're going to get that for a 1 hour show. And you're going to get the platinum. Not like you're going to get that package together. That's two different package, okay? Because I'm on the outside listening in. I was like, what are you saying, Ellen? Are you saying we're going to squash that together? No, we're not going to squash it together. It's going to stand on its own. And usually on the $75 one, it's usually we just read your synopsis. We don't even read the book. Just read your synopsis and 30 minutes. But now we're going to read your entire book, and then we'll deep dive. So on the platinum, that's 135, and we would read your book, but you would get feedback. Okay, I see where it could not join. We're going to do that again. Make sure he is able to get on. Let me do that again. I'll invite him in. I don't see him on screen. Queenie, hopefully he'll come in the room soon. Hopefully you had a great day, Miss Quintessentials, book bestie. We are excited about this. This is day 2, and we have one more day coming up, but this is day 2, and we're looking forward to this. Hopefully there's not a lot of tech stuff going on or weather or anything. There you are. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Let me straighten me up. Sorry about that. But I can't hear you. Wendy, Queenie, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. I don't hear your volume. I don't hear it. Say hello. And I know you like 1,000 hours ahead of us. I really thank you for that. Let's see. Somehow you'll get it in. It'll work all right. Good to see you today. I don't hear your volume, but I do read lips. Remember I told you my mom is deaf. Really good at reading lips. But I don't hear you at this time. Again, Harold Phifer. Let's see, maybe Queenie can. Okay, you can hear me, but not Harold. So, Harold, hopefully you can get that volume in. I don't know what to tell you. I'm on my iPhone. And again, let's see. Let's see what is going on. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Maybe Queenie can navigate you there. And you are on your cell phone, right? And you look a little blurry. You look blurry too. You're not focused in. If you have earbuds, you might have to make sure if you got the Bluetooth, go in your phone and connect the Bluetooth there. She said leave out and come back in. And if you're going to put your Bluetooth on, you got to connect it to your phone. Queenie said leave out and come back in. So hit the X, fall down, and come back in. And she'll help you along the way. So Harold will be back. Hello, MRS Grand 0208. Thank you for being here. So Harold has got some tech problems. You kind of flip your screen, Harold. So hit that X up there, go out and come back in. Maybe take the earpiece out and just let it be. But I can't hear you. So this is Harold. We're talking about my aunt, my bully, my aunt, and her final gift. OMG, I can't wait to talk to him. This is a hot mess. Your auntie is a hot mess. But I'm looking forward to this. I cannot believe the power that she had with the parishioners, first with the pastor as well. Let's see. And so we're going to dig into this book. It is, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe this. And I just don't know. I just don't know. While he's doing that, thank you guys for coming in. Again, I'm Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Today, our guest is Harold Phifer. He is the author of My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. So, guys, this is going to be a treat. In for a treat. We dig a little bit more. This is part 2, and we'll come back with part 3. We'll have a final part in talking with him. And thank you. I can't say that name. I'm sorry. The last is 0208. Thank you for being in the room. Again, I'm Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. We are a small book company as well as a book club. Our book that we're going to read is Trisha Thomas' book, and we'll put that up at the end of the show, what book we're reading from her. And we also have another guest that's going to be in June. Our May calendar is open, guys, if you guys are ready, not thinking about, but you are ready to have a show with me. May is wide open. I am looking for 10 people to do the gold and 10 to do the platinum. They're both 1-hour shows. Well, I take that back. Let's see, he's falling. You say you're here. Let me see if I can get you back. I don't see your light on there. You say you're here, but I'm going to go ahead and hit that. Let's see. See if that brings you up. If not, request to be on my video. Say something.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I hear you loud and clear. Your
All
auntie
right.
is a hot mess, but we're going to get started.
Okay.
I cannot believe this. I had to write this down.
Okay.
I cannot believe this.
Gotcha.
I cannot believe this. But
I'm
tell the
listening.
folks who you are again, a backdrop of you, and then our guest, Harold Phifer, my bully, my aunt, and her final gift. I'm still not there at the final gift. I'm still shocked. I'm shocked.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
so shocked. We're gonna deal. Okay, so you know what
Go
I'm
ahead.
doing. Don't show the book too quick, so you'll know what I'm doing, Harold.
Okay.
I'm on the part when the pastor makes the congregation sign an agreement.
Right.
So we're going to be talking about that. And some people are
Right.
doing it. There was a church a long time ago. The parishioners had to sign a something that they will be losing weight because it was a healthy church. But this beats the cage. I never heard of nothing like this. So tell the folks about yourself. Show your book really slow so they can see it, and we'll go from
Okay.
there. I cannot believe
I,
this.
I'm Harold Phifer. I'm the author of My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. Um, I've been writing for about 7 years now, 7, 8. And this book came out of the original book I wrote was Surviving Chaos, How I Found Peace at a Beach Bar. And people were fascinated with one of the characters, which was my Aunt Kathy. And they kept asking me about it. So I decided to write a book about Aunt Kathy. And like, well, I can really delve into who she really was. And that how my bully, my aunt came in, her final gift came into being. Um, I'm getting more and more questions about her now, as you can see. And she was very unusual, quite a challenge. And as they say, a lot to be desired. And obviously, she left me with a lot of material to write about.
She sure did.
Right.
Did. I'm going to get right into this. I cannot believe this, Harold.
Go ahead.
You said the book was 99% true and
Right.
embellished, a little
Right.
embellishing stuff.
Right.
I cannot believe this.
Yeah.
I'll first start off with the pastor. He wants the congregation to sign an agreement. And in this agreement, I had to write it down because I can't remember this stuff. He wants them to, and then let's just kind of dig into each one, okay?
Okay.
And see which one you did. So I broke it up to where we're talking about what the pastor said versus what Miss Kathy said. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So the pastor, he wanted them to sign the congregation or the parishioners, however you want to say it, to the covenant signed an agreement. Let's just talk
Right.
about that title. Covenant signed an agreement. Again, the covenants, nothing to do with God,
Right.
just his own thing, because a lot of churches we have the Bible and the way God say it, then we have each have their own doctrine.
Right.
So I guess this was his doctrine.
Right.
So he want the parishioners to sign a covenant agreement. And we won't disclose what's in it. Let's just deal with the covenant agreement. Anybody do it? Did you do that?
No, I was too young, but I knew of it.
Number one, he
Okay.
wanted them to attend church regularly,
Hmm.
make up, uh, if they miss it, they're going to make it up. And this is how they make it up. They'll do some classes, some prayers, some meeting, and some crusades.
Right. So people didn't want to miss, right?
But
Yeah,
so you was too young to know if they even signed this, but you knew about
I knew.
this.
Well, they kind of made an attempt when I was about mid-30s, and then I was in Memphis, and this is Columbus, so you're home to visit, and they scheduled a meeting with me to get me on board. I'm like, I don't really live here. No way I could honor anything in here, kind of thing. But the biggest one was, well, why don't you shell out some cash? Right? You know, like, I'll pay the offering and, when I'm here and all that, but I'm not going to sign anything.
Something like what we hear today on the media, because we did a lot of stuff, and not to just uh, throw shade on church or whatever,
Right,
anything like that. So now they have, whether social media, we are being televised, or social media platforms where they get to see what we've been doing all along, and it's just shocking to others. But those who were raised in the church, it's just the norm, right? And so the world gets to see that. But number two, number two, not to visit any other church but his. No other place of worship, only his church.
Right. Well, they didn't want another church or pastor to pick off their parishioners. So,
But you know what? It sounds like it's unbelievable, but it's true. Hold on,
mhm.
I got. I'm sorry. Hopefully, okay,
Okay.
okay. So it sounds like it's something that's unreal, but it is
Right.
tangible because you have some churches that
Right.
it church becomes family, and it's just like they took
Mhm.
one of your family members, right?
Right.
And I can understand it. It just sounds like it's far fetched, but it happens. You go to this church, you go to that church, you keep swapping back and forth, and then finally you're back at your own church. It just sounds so shocking, but I don't know how many pastors saying you can only do not visit any other churches.
Yeah,
Do you think
you,
it's like the word, or it's like they may lose them? What do you think?
I'm thinking more. I would say they may lose them, number one, and two, maybe the teaching may be a little bit off. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that right there, we should kind of know the word of God for ourselves and see what they're teaching.
Mhm.
Because different churches, like we say again, it's a church, then it's the word of God, and then there's certain doctrines that different church carry. Um, Number three, followers tithe and every other. So when he say followers, you're saying like if I visit the church and I follow them, then I need to pay tithe.
They wanted to get you on board, that's for sure. That was there. I mean, that's every church, want that. So they just had their way of.
A visitor? A visitor drop a
Well,
little something in the plate sometime, but if you're following
right.
me,
It, it it
because
depends on
I
how
don't
often
know,
it.
what were you raised like? Were you raised Baptist or Pentecostal? And see, I was raised Pentecostal, and as I got older, then Baptist. I always say I'm Baptist-costal, Pentecostal,
Right,
Baptist-costal. It's not coined, but I hear it a lot as well.
right.
And you you're supposed to tithe where you eat at, as they say, where you remember at. You tithe where you remember
Right.
at. That is a handful. I'm going to reset because we're going to get into Kathy, but before we get
Okay.
into Kathy's,
Hmm.
this is too much. She is way too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to reset and let you recap what we said so far when you come back.
Okay.
Kathy's going to take a little bit of time because she paid her way into heaven. Let's just stop right there.
She tried. Let's put it like that. She tried.
Resetting, guys, resetting.
Yeah.
Again, I'm Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Also, this is a home of book recommendation, live author shows, book talks, and book recommendation. And today, our guest is Harold Phifer, and we're talking about his book, My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. You guys have to read the book to hear what the final gift is. I still don't know yet, but I will soon know. I had to break it down. I had to go
Okay.
back. I had to go
Okay.
back. I couldn't believe what Miss Kathy said. So for those who just joining, I see people swiping and sharing. Um, Recap those one, two, three things. Give us a on that. What was it? Is it something that you said that you did give a little change, just to keep your membership going. So do tell us about this again.
You know, It- they wanted, you get permission to visit another church. Um, want you to tithe, regularly. Um, and like I said, and if you missed church, you had to take classes or make sure, do crusades. So definitely do the Wednesday prayer service. So it was way of it, it kept I won't say close knit, but it kept that group. So he had a consistent following. I put it like that.
That's good. I mean, that's good in
Mhm.
a way. And I guess you could see that because we can't hold people to ourselves. You know, employed by the job, they can give you some incentive things. You could also quit that job and go to another job. In this case, to me, there's some spiritual implications of things. You know, we know as Christian that is Jesus is enough. It kind of wears you down, but then it, like you say, it gives you a sense of family, a sense of that knit, and I guess he meant well. You know what I'm saying? Meant well.
Yeah,
And back in the day, we used to say, like somebody come and visit and different things like that. You say under watch care, because you do need to be like when you're going out, you're going to other places, you don't have a pastor, and church is very beneficial. Like if someone passed,
mhm.
you want somebody to know you when you're being eulogized. So, you know, for example, when I got married with my husband, because I was a member at that church, I didn't have to pay to have the wedding. Only just had to pay
Wow.
for the minister of music. I guess he was a visitor. I'm not sure. So we had to pay
Right.
for that. But the wedding was free to have there because I was a member.
Nice.
So there
Nice.
are some
Right.
benefits and different things like that. But Miss Cat,
Well,
go ahead, finish that. Go ahead.
I'll admit it made the parishioners kind of look out for each other
Hmm.
a, a
Hmm.
whole lot, because, well, I know, sister, you don't want to do the classes, or, well, yeah, I know you want to be there. You don't, your car broke down. I come and get you. It made them look out a lot. I'll admit that.
Oh, that's yeah.
So,
So they were like accountable,
hmm.
accountability.
Right,
Whereas like
right.
right now, if we go out of town, our church is online too. So if we go out of town and we might be in a different time zone, we can look at it online. So I guess this will be, in my sense, like maybe it will be like since you missed it, you'll see it, and maybe there wasn't any like media as we have today. And so the classes would be like Bible classes or
Yeah, little small classes. Yeah, it was Bible classes. It was. Yeah,
so
but
kind of like making sure that you do get the word of God and you won't be. I mean, it sounds
right,
like it sounds far from, but trying to make sure you do get that word in some kind of way. You get that word.
right. Got a story for you.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
as close as congruent that should have been. My aunt called me about a day before she's supposed to have well, not a day before, but she was scheduled for a quintuplet bypass. It was back in mid 90s. Okay, late 90s. Okay, I never heard of quintuplet. I didn't.
I'm trying to figure out. Only thing I know of is like you have three, four more
Oh,
kids. I'm just thinking in that term, but I
yeah,
don't know.
which
Okay,
is
I'm
five,
with you.
which is five. Okay, and blew me away. Right. So anyway, she just called me, hey, come get me day before. Well, she is relative, so I go and get her,
Wait,
right? And
wait,
so,
no, you're going too fast. You had to think about it. You didn't want it in the car, but you just said
well,
she's relative. Okay, let's go with it.
well, you like to know sooner so I can tell the family, hey, Aunt Kathy, I'm stay with her a couple of days or whatever. And she come like, no, I'm coming tomorrow, come get me. Okay, that's a 3.5 hour drive. Okay, I guess I will. Right? So then, she gets admitted to the hospital. about 2 days later. So during the whole time, I'm praying with her, but I'm thinking quintuplet that I had never heard of it. So I'm thinking,
Uh-oh, put your volume back on.
so, I'm praying with her and everything. And I, unbeknownst to her, I called the Reverend. Hey, you know, Kathy's here in Memphis. Um, she did want me to contact me at some point. And I called him, hey, she's here, blah, blah, blah. And he was just silent. There was no, oh, how's she doing? There was no, tell her, me and the flock are praying for her. There was no, what room is she in? And that's when it really, nothing, nothing. It was all me talking and nothing. And so,
Wait a minute, wait
it
a
was,
minute. Are you saying that there was a will written at that time that kind of went through? No, let me stop.
not, I don't know, but it was more of he didn't care at this point.
You think
Maybe,
so? You think
maybe
maybe
something
he
else,
was shocked? Because she's one of the top breadwinners.
but she stirred a lot of, okay, she stirred.
She stirred the pot
So,
up too.
yeah, I think I want her welcome by then. I think he was kind of indifferent to her money and she would want it. So I call her favorite brother, which is the youngest of the siblings. They always brag about each other, They didn't care about anybody else but each other. Same thing. Hey, she's in the hospital. Um, I'm not sure, quintuplet is what they're saying. There was nothing. No, what room is she in? Is she comfortable? Keep me up. It was eerie. Okay. So I call my brother the golden child, right? And he like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then he hangs up. Right. So I call him back, read him the riot act, said a few choice words, like, how dare you not, you need to say something, she's always, looked out for you, blah, blah, blah. Once again, uh-huh, uh-huh, click. Yeah.
She had
So
burned up the
that,
bridges that bad.
yes, yes. I was, even though I didn't have a relationship, I was just spellbound. I was like,
Wow.
this is wow. True story.
So the thing too to me is with that, even though she was your bully, your aunt, and
Hmm.
that final gift, but you from just hearing you, um, didn't treat her as she deserved in that sense when it related
No.
to you.
Hmm.
So you were still again able to lay aside the way you felt. Did
Right.
she realize you were there, and did the procedure go well, or
Hmm.
and you
Went
had to drive
well.
back, or was she, who house she went over after
She
she had to come home with
she
you,
she
or
stayed at my place for about another, I think, 2 weeks, maybe more.
maybe
Okay.
that's why they didn't say nothing, because they ain't having her over her house. They knew that you was supposed to be on the street. So if they had said one more word over how she's doing, what room she in, they know the next thing is, can she come to your house? So they were smart about it. They like, he gonna be all right. She gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right. And did they talk to her after
But
things got better?
yes, yes. But this was the weird thing, okay? Uh, Well, everything with her was weird, but this was extra weird. She um she wanted to loan me money, and and I didn't need it. I was doing okay, and I'm telling her I'm good. I don't need it, and she was insistent. And it was like, I mean, we talked like $3,000, and so I took it and gave it back to her about a month later. but she was insistent,
Just held
you
on
know,
to it, didn't use it at all, just held on to it.
right. hmm I mean, that's how guilt-ridden she was.
So you think she was probably doing her forgiveness for a little bit, but she did put the word loan on there.
Right, and she sure did.
So she says, in other words, she say, I like you just a little bit, but you gonna get his back.
Right, right.
And when you gave it back to her, I mean, did you give it back wrapped up, a card, or just here?
No, I gave it back in the envelope, but when you said card, you remind me of something else.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So,
um, Go ahead. No, I'll tell you. And maybe this say a generational thing, okay?
hmm
I, I would send people these gift cards or birthday cards that have animals like Snoopy or whatever,
hmm
or Garfield or whatever. So I sent her a card with some money, um, probably when I first started working. And so I didn't know. I found this out from my nephew that she had an attitude because of the card, and
wasn't no monkey on the
it
card, was it?
was it was like Snoopy.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Snoopy is fine as long as there was no monkey on the card.
right, but she told my nephew. She said he sent me a card with a dog on it. So,
She don't
so,
know Snoopy. Snoopy is a good guy.
so she sent the money back, and it was no more about $60, $100, but she sent it back. And
She was.
yes. And the joke I tell my kids, I say, if y'all want to send me some money and insult me when you do it, I said, you got my permission. You can insult me every week.
Wow. Because it
Yeah,
has so nothing you do is just like thank you. It's just always something.
right.
Always.
There's something tied to it.
Well, we're gonna reset again, and we got to come
Okay.
back with Kathy's demands. I had to write it down because I can't believe it.
Okay, gotcha.
We're resetting.
Okay.
Resetting. Again, I'm Ellen Sutter, the ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Also, our guest is Harold Phifer. He is the author of My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. We are talking over some things that was in the book. And now for those who listen or in replay time, catch those other ones. And we're going to go right into what Kathy said. So Aunt Kathy, she wanted to be recognized as one of the top servants
Yep.
of all the parishioners. She wanted to be recognized as top. What is that
Right.
all about?
I mean, aside from her financing thing, which that matters. I won't lie. I don't want to downplay that part. But she didn't have any special talents. To me, she wasn't good at organizing anything. Um, she wasn't a good, to me, a teacher. I mean, because everybody tried to be Sunday school teachers or whatever.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, but she just want to leapfrog it all. I'm number one up in here.
Wow.
Yeah.
She said, and she said that she wanted to be top parishioner,
hmm
but when she dies, she can be second after she dies. I can't with her. I can't. She want to be second when she dies. I mean, she gone buried in the ground, but she
Mhm.
still want the title of second parishioner, top while she's alive. And when she dies, she don't want a funeral on the weekend. She wanted on a Monday
That's
because
right.
weekend's too busy.
Right.
How's she gonna know all this?
Well, she also worked at a funeral home, so she knew about weekend services. That's most of them are on the weekend.
Now this,
You know?
this is closer to after she had that procedure, or
Yeah,
this
I
is
mean,
sometime after. She must somewhere knew that she was going to be leaving for all this wonderful things she was going to leave behind.
I- I'm sure.
She had an
Like I
inkling
said,
of something.
like it was like mid-90s when she had the procedure. She didn't pass until 2019, 2020, something like that.
2020 during the pandemic.
hmm I mean, it was quite a
Was she
while.
able to have a funeral? Because during the pandemic we couldn't see the
She
bodies,
did.
we couldn't have funerals, we couldn't do none
Right.
of that.
Well, and I think it was 2019, right
hmm
before.
hmm
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 hmm And so when there's an event or something, she wanted to be on the top billing to other city events. She got to be the top.
Right.
hmm And she just was a bit of a handful. She, uh, I cannot believe what I'm reading. Um, when she dies, she wants, I'm going to paraphrase, she wants to have her eulogy heaven style, like heaven bound eulogy.
Right. Uh, I wanted no part of
Whew,
it, but I kind of got guilted into it. You know?
I cannot believe this. She had some things for you too.
Go ahead.
She wanted to make sure that you go to church and make
Right.
sure you're carrying a Bible in your hand. You must have
Right.
a Bible in your hand,
hmm
so it can look like your, soul is going to heaven.
That's right.
She also wanted you to be the announcer at church,
hmm
choir, choir boy, Sunday school teacher, and but then you said to top that off, you said although you was a menace, you knew that you was a menace,
Yeah, I do.
and you absolutely love because you had a role in making sure that the kids act right or the people act right, and you kind of loved that role. You said because you
Oh
got a
yeah.
chance to antagonize folks.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of pent up frustration. I had to get it out, let it out somehow, you know.
Were you successful at doing the roles that she wanted you to be? And did it make you, in some sort of way, even though it might have sounded like she was a bit much, she really wanted to do well, seemed like by you, spiritually, naturally, maybe physically, your whole well being, even though she was a handful.
Yeah.
I did ask you, was she sane? You said yes, she was sane because you did tell
Yeah.
us in the other talk that mom was schizophrenia and
Right.
that sister kind of helped, uh, big sis kind of helped little sis do those things. So
Right.
I imagine as a reader that she want to make sure that maybe not to be your mama, but make sure that some of those things were implemented to you, that you could be the best in society that you could be, you know.
Yes, but all fairness, you know, God, I hate to say this, but being a pastor is a heck of a title,
It is. Yeah.
and she wanted to stir me that way.
That's too much. You can
And
She wanted to, I mean, you got to be called. A lot of people are not called. She just want to put you
right,
in that position.
right,
And quite a few people, it was very hard for them being put in the position and not being
right,
called. Because it's
right,
enough.
And
that we have to take care and work out our own soul salvation at the same time being a pastor. It's kind of like they have to have a cut and dry lifestyle, where it's for all of us who are, call on the name of the Lord to be servants of the Lord. We all have that, but it's like it's a different thing if you see that pastor doing the same thing you're doing. You expect
right
the to be doing far more
above,
than just a regular
yeah,
pastor.
right.
So when she tried to give you that role as a pastor, I mean, did you hide away from it, or soon after she had already been gone to be with the Lord?
I found ways to kind of get away from it, but she wanted to, try to encourage me to, I guess, be a junior minister. So,
People
you
do
know,
that, yeah.
yeah, and um, I did. I mean, I I knew enough about myself that I didn't want it, and I knew I didn't want it. I got to go with that because I could have been an orator. I mean, I could, you know, I could speak at a young age. I could have won people over. But I didn't want it. I just didn't. I mean, I had, of course, I had my own issues, being embarrassed, humiliated by my mom and all that, being poor. I just, I don't know. It wasn't something that I wanted to pursue and hope that I got called, and that the spirit hit me to do it, and I just never did. But
Um, Queen said, "I know about the second one." She know about the second one, number two. Um, I guess she's staying with Aunt saying about. Tell me which part of that you stand with the aunt saying that she wanted to.
I lost you there.
I had
I
some
lost you.
background noise, so I
Oh,
don't
okay.
have it anymore. Um, I think she's talking about when we're talking about the tops or the. She got to let me know again what she's talking about the when we were talking about for the pastor, or what we were talking about Aunt Kathy. But like you say, in all fairness, and talking about this, um, yeah, being a pastor is a far fetched thing. Is you got your
Yeah.
whole parishioners, you got, you know, that's definitely something you have to be called into. And
Right.
like she said, maybe like yourself, you was a great orator, and she probably saw that. You speak well because you
Hmm.
got a nice big baritone voice, and reading that
Right.
word with,
Right.
you could put power against that word when you're speaking.
Right.
Oh, the pastor not going to anyone else church. She says she knows about that. She's familiar with that being happening. You know, don't go to any other church.
Right.
Um, it's some serious stuff, like you said with your mom, you know, and this is a question I wanted to ask you. Like when you have your mom who's schizophrenic, you have an aunt who's just a handful. So where did you find your stable manhood? You know, without a father being around, your brothers seem like they're there, but they're not there. And what was that stable manhood for you like?
Really, it kind of wasn't. You know, of course, my mom was attractive, crazy, but attractive, and so she attracted men. And I met a lot of them. Some were cool, some would be overboard, like, hey, I'm your dad. Like, no, you're not. You know. And, and so I got I'm trying not to go off into my other book, but I will. Um in my book, A Fool Indeed, or my fictional book,
Mhm.
the
That
cat
one's coming up pretty soon. Or that one's
Well,
already
it's
out?
out. It's out. It's out.
What was the name again?
But a fool indeed. And part of the character, he started out being rich. He lost everything, so now he's well. The first, it's a series. He started out being rich, lost everything, then he started being a sanitation worker. Well, I can relate to that. One of the guys that made a lot of impact on me was a sanitation worker, and I purposely did that. And so he drank a lot on the weekend, and we didn't get along initially, but the guy they call him Bo, and Bo engaged me, and he won me over, and that's why I purposely made the guy Charlie Mo. It's your character name. I mean, sanitation work. But long term, I didn't have a lot of male influences, and and um, and I told you previously about the one that when I was about four. Um, and like it was just luck. I had people take a liking to me, and I talk about it further in the book. My bully, my aunt in her final gift was uh, the Boy Scout director, and I joined the Boy Scout. And I don't think I obviously didn't get to that part, but a cast ran me out of the Boy Scout, and and this guy he knew I was a wayward kid from the wrong side of the track, but he saw something
Mm,
and he took me in, you
okay,
know.
I can't wait to get to that part.
Yeah, and I was one of the top cadets, and they loved me. I cast
Wow.
ran me, I cast ran me out of there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I I didn't have a lot of male influence. So you fast forward, got another story. I got this wild hair back around about 2000, and and that uncle I was telling you about that didn't check on Kathy. And like, haven't had a lot of close relationship with men in my life. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go visit him. He's my uncle. Blah blah blah. I'm an adult now, so we can have an adult conversation, right?
Yes. You can
All
almost
right.
cuss what you're saying, right? You can almost cuss. Felt good like he was at the barber shop, huh?
And when it's like that's the only relative I got that's a man that's that I knew of was him. Okay. Um. Well, at least on that side, because when I turned 21, I met my dad. So, and that was another relationship, not what I thought it'd be, whole different. But this is my uncle. Been my uncle all my life. This ain't just somebody coming up. So, anyway, this is a good story. I'll make it quick. I'll try to. So we get to his house. He lived in his house. All his daughters had moved away, married and moved away. So we get to his house. It was like a two-bedroom house, small house. And I noticed there's a chain on the refrigerator.
Oh, that's back in the day. My grandfather. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm like, if you live alone, why you need a chain on the refrigerator? But okay, we go on. So, and this is Memorial Day weekend. So Memorial Day, all the nieces and cousins and all the relatives come over to his house. And this is Uncle Dane. So I decided to buy everybody food for celebration for Memorial Day. So I get to him, and he had been smoking and drinking all weekend. I say, I'm going to buy everybody barbecue and and whatnot for celebration. I said, you want anything? He said, no, no, I'm good. I said, how about you? You don't want any barbecue? He said, no. I said, cigarettes? No, no, I'm good. Ah, that whiskey. You want some of that whiskey? No, 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 I'm good. I said, you sure? He said, yeah. Okay. So go off and get the stuff and come back. We giving that to the kids and everything. And I look at my wife, and she has to look like she's seen a ghost, right? And I'm like, what's going on? She said, your uncle took everybody's ice, drink ice. I said, come again? Your uncle took up everybody's ice, for the drinks. So as I look, my uncle, the refrigerator is stuff, and he trying to, make room by banging on it, right? So, so I go, I approached him gently, right? I
You
said,
bet.
um, right? I said, did you take up everybody's ice? He said, yeah. I said, why? He said, you didn't ask me if I had ice. I got ice.
Oh my goodness, you did not.
I did not.
What a character. And you can't go in the refrigerator because he's locking it. My granddaddy never went in
Right.
the refrigerator. He locked that refrigerator. I want to ask you this. This might take
Go
you a
ahead.
little deep,
Go
and
ahead.
our time is going out. So,
Hmm.
with your mom,
Hmm.
like you say, schizophrenia, what is this? Is might be tough. You may or may
Go
not
ahead.
answer it.
Go ahead.
And I notice that, and I might be hearsay, but
Hmm.
I know not personally, but from someone else,
Okay.
that, that men that don't have much of their mom in their lives, it's kind of hard for them to connect with women.
You know,
That would be your question.
my
What is it like for that?
mine was kind of the opposite, but and I told somebody this story night before. I was ignorant about what you just said. Okay. Or not necessarily connect, but women evaluate men by their relationship with their
Your
mother.
mom. That's right.
And me and my pride, because I pulled myself out of my bootstraps. I'm the one that kept it together. I foolishly would tell women I don't have a relationship with my mom, but because I felt emboldened that I'm that dude. Right? I didn't know I was too stupid to realize that's a deal breaker. you know?
That is a deal breaker because it's the first woman in your life. It's a
Right.
deal breaker.
I lost a lot of girlfriends. Not knowing, I was being evaluated. Yeah,
Wow. Was it a hard thing too to like bring them around your mom, or
I
you
did.
didn't? You
I
did.
did. No,
So
no,
how do
not at
you get
all.
around that? You show them Aunt Kathy. Well, you knew not to show Aunt Kathy. Who do who's the next lady in line for this?
Oh boy.
Or you wing it. You wing it.
I did. I winged it. I think I did date a lot, especially in college, but I think only two girls I met, my ex-wife and my girlfriend, met my
Hmm.
mom. Like, no,
I mean,
no.
was she? I mean, was she able to carry on conversations, or you called mom at
Yeah,
the right time? Did she have
yeah.
meds, or did she refuse to take meds? Or
She never had meds, never, got the attention she needed.
wow! And
And I think
you said she
I
was
think,
absolutely gorgeous.
yeah. And I think my Aunt Kathy relished her being in that predicament
Hmm.
because we had to depend on
Yeah,
her. You know, we had problems, we had to go to her,
yeah.
you know. Mhm.
Wow, wow. That's pretty tough, Harold. Though, like
Oh,
I
it
say,
was.
with me, my mom is deaf, like I told you, And so, like the mama stories or having that relationship, I know sign language now more than passable. I kind of refuse to uh, learn sign language as a child, even though she taught us and she actually taught us sign language. And I can only speak for myself because daddy was talking. Why do I need to use sign language? And I correlate that to if someone speaks Spanish and you have one English, and if you're more speaking English, you'll gravitate to the more English speaking. And
Okay.
so for me, uh, I would uh, people would ask me, let's say when before they knew my mom was dead, they say, when you go on a date, do you introduce to your mom? And I never thought about that. I think in this way I might be like you. Just hear me out. Is I'm not saying I didn't have to show her to him. I just winged it, and if they asked about mom and I say my mom is deaf, but then to have that relationship with my mom would say, don't. She'll, if she didn't like somebody, but
Okay.
what is that to me? That's, I'm still going to do it. And so that's the thing. I think I can kind of meet you at the line with that because
Right.
I didn't introduce anybody to her.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
didn't have that conversation when I say, Mom, do you like him? Or that I just dated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I can just almost meet you at the line with maybe that's how that went. And to say, back in the day, I don't like her. She always said that's Queenie thing. When she not that she don't like your mama, okay, because she don't know your mama.
Mm.
But Queenie, when her older son, let's go with that one, when she meets somebody, she don't like her. She ain't ever said nothing to her. I don't like her. I don't like her. So that's what she said. That's what she
Okay.
did. Mom do that to you? If she's just seen somebody she don't like
Oh God. I can't think of a situation because I was too smart to let anybody come around.
them?
But
Did you, if
yeah.
they, those that did come around, did you say, hey, my mom? What did you say? What did you say about your mom? Those that did have that privilege.
I told him, she would have some issues, but I mean, we were way deep in the relationship. There was no initial, no, oh no.
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
I mean, ah, God, I could tell you incidents. What I remember first or second grade, and me and a couple guys bonded, and this sound weird, but they all kind of like got together and visit each other home. And they came to my home. My mom ran them off.
Mm.
We talking like get out, ran them off. And I was embarrassed. I was hurt. I mean,
But
so I
but did you
learned at
avoid
six.
that? Do you avoid that for a time, or it was your time to have them to come over your house, or did you try to avoid it as much? No full morning to Mama. You thought maybe she would be gone. What? Why was there not a
No,
full woman morning? We know Mama's condition, mental illness,
like
but why was there not any full warning or however you communicate to Mom or whatever your communication was with Mom?
it was impromptu. They just popped up. They knew where I live, you know, and just popped up. And
I
I'm
was like,
glad. I'm
were they
glad.
able to come
I'll
in the door,
no,
or they had sat down
no,
for a moment? They could not even come in the door.
no, oh no,
And I can
no.
imagine they was trying to figure out what did they do.
No, they just come and she, what do you want? Get away from here. We don't know you, and then she start that, devils and dead dogs and all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow, that was really tough, though.
Oh
It was really
God, yeah.
tough. So
I got a better
like you
story though.
have. Oh, we only got 1 minute. Like you
Okay.
have ETA meetings and stuff like that.
hmm
Who went for you? Did they ask where your mom was, sign the permission slip, stuff like that? You just did it on your own.
No, never had them. Never went to any. Never,
But that did
never.
your school know about you? Like our school knew that my mom was deaf, and my dad did all of the meetings, all of the PTA meetings, all of it and stuff. And they knew that she was deaf. Did they know about your mom? Your school know about your mom? Or it was just something that you just don't talk about?
Yeah, I don't think they knew her having a condition. They just knew something wasn't right.
Okay,
You know.
okay. Well, we're at
Yeah,
8 o'clock. We have one more show coming up, and
I got
that last show will be on the 24th, same
you.
time.
Okay, okay,
That will be next week, and we'll go a little bit deeper. We'll go a little bit
okay.
deeper into more stuff that in it. That I found that shocking. Tell the folks where they
Hmm.
can meet you, and what is your takeaway for those who are listening or replay time for this show at this time?
All right. Like I said, once again, if you see any of my content, like and share. This is my big book, My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift by Harold Phifer. That's me. Um, I know some of the stuff is shocking, but I hope you find some of the entertainment. The book, I try to pull on the entertainment part, and it wasn't funny then, but it's funny now, and that's why I wrote the book. And I hope you guys, you know, don't don't feel down. Just enjoy the weirdness, if I can
Yes,
say that.
yes, yes,
You know, yeah.
yes,
And and
yes, and
and hopefully, if you join us next time, I'll finish that story.
yes, yes.
Like,
We're not gonna give it
yeah,
all away, but I'll have it finished. I'll have the story finished, and I try to talk where we don't give it all away.
right,
That way, they can go back to it, and it's interesting. I have to do that. It's a little bit
right,
different when you're doing it. I don't have the physical book, but it's a little bit different when you're doing it on your
yeah,
tablet, and I look forward to that. I think this was a interesting talk, going a little bit deeper, finding out how Aunt is, and it seems like
mm,
she just mean well. So we thank you for coming tonight, and we'll
and I
see you at
appreciate it.
7 on the 24th, and we'll get a little bit more in there. Remember that it's your book, so
Hmm.
you should know your story and where
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going, and I'll just tell you right where I am, the
Okay,
vicinity of where I'm going to be talking about when we come on, because it might be so much other things. So I try to jot those down. But this right here
okay.
was a doozy. So you have an amazing
Well,
night, a doozy in a hilarious way. I could not believe it. So
well, all you read so far is to build up. You fix and really get the meat of it now. Yeah.
I'm telling
Wait.
you, Harold, I went back twice. Like when I say I went back twice, I mean I went back to the beginning of the book. That's why
Mhm.
I'm not further along,
That's
because
okay.
I was like, what? And then when Auntie was right there, I was far ahead of Auntie. I had to come back and say, what did the pastor and the Auntie say?
Yeah.
Those two. They was Pastor married?
Yes, he
Okay,
was. Yes.
because
Oh,
I was
he is. Yeah.
because I was gonna say
He's
maybe Kathy might have gave him a run for his money, but we're gonna leave that one alone. You you have a good night. Thank you for
you
being
too.
here.
Okay. All right.
This has been great. You
I
can hit that
appreciate
next.
it. It has.
You
Okay.
as well. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Hit
Okay.
that top up there, and we'll see you on the 24th. I'm going to talk a little bit
Okay.
to the folks here. Hit that
Okay. Thank
X.
you, Michelle.
You're
All right,
welcome.
Michelle.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was Harold Phifer. Woo! You guys will have to do the replay, and I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of interesting things in here. Like you say, his book is titled My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. He did give us a little bit of peek of that. So if you guys were listening, you would have heard a sneak peek of what that gift was. And it sounded like it was a pretty good gift. And so also we are having a special Queenie. uh, she is wonderful if she's still there. Queenie, if you need any virtual assistant, do look after Miss Queenie right there, our literary ambassador. And so we'll have out pretty soon our gold, which is normally we just read your synopsis and it's a 30-minute. That's at $75. And our platinum, which is 135, that's a 1 hour show. And so we're looking for 10 people for the $75 show and also 10 people for the $135, which is the 1 hour show. But both of them, we would read your entire book. So stay tuned for that. We do have our special show, which is this show right here, a 3-day show. Guys, email me at mrssudds@yahoo.com. That's MRSSUDDS@yahoo.com. And you can also inbox me here on Messenger. And you can follow me on ESP Presents everywhere, Facebook, here. You guys have an amazing night. And again, thank you to Harold Phifer, I guess, for today. We're going to deep dive again. And that's what we do. We deep dive into your book, pull out those characters, and talk about your book as you intend it to be for your readers. You guys have an amazing night. Good night. Bye-bye. And thank you, Queenie, for coming on. And thank you all for who were swiping and sharing. Have an amazing night.